Premature end to day three's play at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Just 15 and a half overs in that final session before bad light and then a thunderstorm in Sydney causing an abrupt end. 236 for 6. Australia losing 6 wickets on this day. Half of those to Kuldeep Yadav, who's enjoyed his day and under the sun until the clouds came over. Marcus Harris top scoring with 79. Session started well for India after Tim Paine's wicket in the very first over, but not much cricket after that once Australia's greatest ever player Pat Cummins came to the crease to take charge. That's where the game stands then at the end of day 3. This is ESPN Cricinfo Match Day presented by Maruti Suzuki. I am Raunak Kapoor. Patiently waiting are Ajit, Agarkar, Sanjay, Manjrekar and Damien Martyn. So let's get straight into the quick takes from this day, gentlemen. And we'll start with Marcus Harris as a long-term prospect for Australia. What do you make, Sanjay?
Warner available, opening pair for Australia, Marcus Harris and David Warner.
Yeah, he's looked the most assured out of the Aussie batsmen, so clearly yes.
Damien?
I agree. He's looked great, and he'll go well with Warner going forward.
Very well. That's 2 Warners, if you believe it, from the comparisons being made. What about Kuldeep Yadav's performance? Let's go there. Damien, why don't you start this one off? Kuldeep Yadav on day 3 today?
He's done well. I mean, hasn't taken a lot of spin, has it? And not much bounce, but he's got wickets, and he's made the batsmen worry by they're not picking him. The ball is going either way, and he's troubled them.
Ajit?
Yeah, smart. I think the trajectory we spoke about earlier on was flatter. Later on, Sanjay mentioned much slower. Changed angles, came round the stump, used that angle, which made it seem like the ball spun a little bit more. Maybe did odd one, but smart bowling. I think on a pitch which was not very responsive.
Sanjay?
If his Lord's bowling on a foreign pitch was here, Sydney has been here, so marked improvement.
All right, let's go back to Damien for Australia's middle order woes that seem to continue in spite of the change in lineup and batting lineup in this test, Damien.
Just disappointing. I mean, I don't know what else. Disappointing, sad. Just mentally haven't been with it this test match.
Sanjay?
Pat Cummins is the best player, so you can imagine middle order woes continue. Sean Marsh. I know Khwaja opened, but the senior batsmen really have to come to the fore, and they haven't. So I think that's just extend that to woeful instead of woes continue.
Yeah, terrible, really. I mean, to make it so easy for India. Flat pitch. All of them getting in, also getting starts. Most of them rather. Must be a disappointing feeling in that dressing.
I think you'll enjoy this one, Sanjay. Jadeja over Ashwin now overseas.
Still a toss-up between the two. Have to look at how many left-handers in the opposition. If it's just right-handers and the pitch is good, Ashwin still is in the equation. But now there's a third one. Kuldeep Yadav on a good pitch is a tempting option to play as a spinner.
Ajit?
Yeah, not sure yet. I mean, but every time he plays, he's putting up performances and doing the job for his captain. So eventually there'll be a time if Ashwin doesn't stay fit throughout the series, he'll have to start taking that call early in the series.
Damien?
That will always be a question mark with Ashwin's selection over Jadeja's fitness.
Damien?
Look, I take Ashwin, but as I say, fitness. But Jadeja's always there, putting his hand up and ready to go. But I would go Ashwin first.
And finally, Damien, the SCG pitch.
Too flat. Been disappointing. It's third day now. Let's hope some rain got on it, maybe.
Ajit?
Yeah, it's good pitch. I mean, Australia should be getting more runs on that. If it's a flat pitch, India showed them how to bat on it. Unfortunately, they haven't been good enough with the bat.
Love drop-in pitches.
As simple as that.
Yeah, after the Sydney pitch.
All right, those were our quick takes from today's play. Let's move on, carry the conversation forward. Let's focus on 2 of those in detail. One, of course, the middle order troubles for Australia, types of shots that they play to get out of it. We'll also talk a little bit about Kuldeep Yadav and the impact he's had in his first game of this tour. Damien, let's kick the conversation off about Australia's wickets, the middle order. It is a flat pitch. Every batsman would not getting a big score on it. Can you somewhere sympathize that Australia is so far behind, they try to get it on? Or is there just no excuse with the batsmen not relying on their defence and lacking the application that someone like Pujara showed?
Yeah, I mean, Pujara just batted. I mean, I think when we went to bat today, we put the score out of our mind. Just thought, why don't we just get to the end of stumps today and bat and see what happens? Not look too far forward in the game. Soft dismissals. I mean, I say from the start, Khwaja again, reverse sweeping, then trying to go on the wicket with none for 60, gets caught mid-wicket. I mean, just soft dismissals. Harris the same, Sean Marsh. So whether they're good enough mentally at that level after, the test matches they've played, But this series, they've been poor.
This Khwaja reverse sweeping really has you annoyed.
It is becoming as
Isn't it,
famous
Damien?
as Mike Gatting's reverse sweep in that
Yeah,
final.
but why don't I
19.
spend a moment
I can't
more?
believe-
I
I don't
want
know,
you to
just-
put in perspective, Damien. It might seem funny for our viewers who would have seen the show, morning, afternoon, evening. But put in perspective why that annoyed you so much.
Because Shane Warne mentioned it about 3 weeks ago, and he had a go at Shane Warne saying it's like a cover drive I play. Well, I just disagree. His numbers don't show that, averaging 43 in first-class career.
All right,
Good
fair
point.
enough.
Yeah,
Simple
good
as
point,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not a
the-
cover drive.
I mean,
it's a
that's the
little
other
more
thing.
risky.
Modern day batsmen say that's the way we play.
Yeah.
But then
Then you have
you've
to
got
be
to produce
effective.
the results if you
Exactly.
play that way.
You know,
I
this
mean,
is the way I play. My
Natural game
batting
or
style is
whatnot.
attacking, but your average is 31. Not good enough.
Okay, defense doesn't seem to be something that they can rely on as much as, say, a Pujara. But we saw that with Tim Payne. You were disappointed with the manner of dismissal. Tim Payne has shown he can grit it out and play with some resolve.
yeah,
That
I
can
think he
happen.
along with maybe Harris in that, if you call them batsmen, I mean Cummins has probably looked better than Tim Payne, but he's at least hung around most of the test matches. Hasn't got a big score, but has got starts, 30s. Yeah, poor shot just after tea. I mean,
Good ball as well.
Good
Ajit,
ball.
but very,
in the
very full.
sense that
Yeah.
it was right up there, over pitch. And a spinner, when he bowls over pitch, driving a spinner is, got to be careful how you drive it. So I can understand. It wasn't a rash shot. It's just the length that got him. I think the best ball was perhaps to Sean Marsh. He can be excused because the length was perfect. All the other wickets.
Okay, I'll come to the Sean Marsh wicket. But as a batsman, would you feel more disappointed that you missed that one, or would you say,
Yeah,
I
I
got
mean
a
there
good
are two
one?
batsmen sitting on
Yeah.
the show, so they'll probably answer.
No, but I'm
better.
saying even
looking-
you as a
looking
lower
at
order
the ball-
batsman,
yeah,
isn't
even-
it?
I disagree on the front that because as a bowler, you should know batsman more because that was
no,
your
fair enough.
object.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, if a batsman got out to be on that, okay, I wasn't a spinner, but if and it spun a bit, but that's a half volley,
Well, I'm
really,
saying-
or a full toss.
I'm
if you're
saying
good
even
enough.
the batsman that you are, if you got out to that ball, would you be saying, oh, that guy got me, the spinner deceived me, or would you be saying, I should have hit
I
that?
got out quite a few times with those
Well,
balls.
let's be
but
fair.
He made another
Very
good
fair.
point watching it. He missed it by a long way as well.
yeah, I mean, his foot was still there. He's obviously driven it as if it's not going to turn, and on a flat pitch.
As a captain, I used to encourage spinners to bowl over pitch deliveries to batsmen because a lot of batsmen think, over pitch delivery is easy to dispatch. They're more accustomed to playing good length balls. So it's a ball that I've always liked as a captain. So
On a
when I
pitch
say
that is
as a-
offering some turn, though, Sanjay.
even turning pitches, normal pitches, and this is where I like the new age spinners because they give a lot of balls for batsmen to drive. Harbhajan Singh, Anil Kumble were
But
always
as a
good
batsman,
length.
would you be disappointed getting out that way or not?
Yes, but I can see why the fault came.
Okay,
in.
I think there's a
Because
bit
they
of
encouraged the
a there's a
batsman
bit
to
of a
play some
split here.
shots.
So I'm going to break it with Damien Martyn, who
Yeah.
I will credit on the show as the most accomplished batsman on the show. So let's go to you, Damien. And I don't know if Sanjay takes offense to that, but it's okay.
No, he's right.
Would you be gutted that you've gotten out to that, or would you be saying, oh, the bowler's got me on this?
I'd be gutted getting out both those deliveries.
Yeah, simple as that. All right,
No,
let's
look,
focus.
I think the Sean Marsh, look, it didn't do a lot, and that's the way he's got out before in the past. Tim Payne, the same a bit. I mean, there was comparison on TV with Pat Cummins, the similar delivery. He just got his foot across a bit more than Tim Payne. But I agree with Sanjay as well. You throw it up, it gets above the batsman's eye line, and you get excited, and you want to play the big cover drive, and it was the perfect delivery.
The Sean Marsh
Spinning back and bowling
delivery,
it.
I liked it because if you saw it closely, Sean Marsh is sort of gone like this and he's not been able to make the right decision whether to get onto the front foot or back foot, and then reluctantly he's gone forward to a ball that's not quite there. So the length has actually created a little bit of confusion and tentativeness. That's why I like that ball particularly.
So it's just the length, or is it Jadeja bowling at a certain
Just the
pace?
length first. It's amazing how many times the mistakes happen because you haven't judged the length properly. Had he judged the length, there was nothing in the ball. It was just a straight delivery. But because he wasn't to the pitch of the ball, why wasn't he to the pitch of the ball? He couldn't make up his mind.
All right, and there seemed to be this continuous trend of Australian batsmen coming in, getting 30s or 20s and just not carrying forward. Travis Head has also looked good in phases. Would you call him unlucky for stepping down and chipping one straight back off a full toss to Kuldeep? Good catch.
I mean, you'd be disappointed as a batsman.
Yeah.
I mean, on a pitch
Then
again.
again, getting a batsman to drive.
Right.
Fair enough. But then if it means the batsmen aren't good enough, there's no fault of the bowler. He's doing his job. But is it that a wicket-taking
It's
ball?
actually very interesting
I
when
mean,
you go deeper into it, Ajit.
But well, I mean,
because,
if
we've
you
seen a
could
lot
finish
of
that, Sanjay, sorry, but
Yeah.
is that a wicket-taking ball?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I mean, if
So
he's got to the
that's
pitch
it.
of it on the full, you've got to put it away. I mean, that's the way I would look at it. I
See,
mean,
I have always believed that instead of the short ball, we've seen quite a few short balls being dispatched for 4. Kuldeep Yadav bowling full toss is a lot better than bowling a short ball. We've seen a lot of batsmen
there's no
getting
argument
out.
in that. That's fine. But
And also the fact that he stepped out and converted that into the full.
No, even
into a
Tim
full
Payne's. I
toss.
mean, the angle he changed, he's come round the stumps, and the angles obviously created a bit more spin, or it feels that much more. But still, I mean, if you're a test batsman, I think you'd expect to bat a bit better.
To turn the conversation to Damien, however, how hard Australia's bowlers had to work to get India's wickets, Damien. You look at Australia's 6 wickets today. So you go Harris, Khwaja, Labuschagne, Marsh, Head, and Payne. How many of those, if you can now just take your time to think of those balls, how many of those balls were brilliant bit of bowling or great bit of captaincy or whatnot to get the wicket, and how many of that was just the batsman giving it away?
Yeah, it's hard to say that. I mean, it's like the Kohli, the field placement's changing up. I think his captaincy's been great to annoy the batsmen in the way of those mid-wicket guys. But it's what leads up to it, and what leads up to it is that Australia been in the field for 2 days, massive score on the board, and we've come out and just a different mindset of batting. I'm not sure what the reason they could bat for 2 days. So there's a bit of deceiving from the bowling as well, a bit of pressure, a bit of mental application we haven't applied, which has been the factor for it all.
Just one good ball as far as I'm concerned,
That's
which
Sean
was
Marsh.
Jadeja.
Jadeja to Sean Marsh.
I mean, Australian batsmen have been poor through the series, but India's bowled equally well.
Yes.
I mean, all the bowlers that have been on show have been really consistent. So that's made their life even tougher. And when you don't have the necessary resolve as a batsman, you are going
It's
to make
happened to
mistakes.
India as well. We've been on foreign
Yeah.
tours where we have lost
was exactly
matches,
what
and then you
happened to
come
India.
into the last test match of the series.
have-
The fight just dies.
Have Jadeja and Kuldeep outbowled Nathan Lyon on this pitch, though? In this test?
Bowled on the first 2 days of the
So that
game as
you give that into
well.
account.
He's bowling to different players who are confident at the moment. Pujara batted beautifully, batted a long time. He's probably one of the better players against Nathan Lyon. So
So while we
you
can
can't
criticize,
compare.
we can criticize the Aussie seamers like Nathan Lyon did.
Yeah.
In India's seamers, India's bowling all round has been more compact for you.
Yeah, very good. I think that's. I mean, 4 bowlers just bowling through
Indian
the course of the
seam
day.
bowling has outbowled Australian
clearly,
seam bowling, but
clearly.
spin, I think Nathan Lyon has been the best of all.
Very well.
spinners.
Let's pull one of your questions now on this end of day show. And there are questions about the Australian batting that will continue to emerge. I'm sure there'll be a lot said. There's already Australian media counting down the days to Smith and Warner's return. Damien, Martyn, this is all yours. Has T20 got anything to do with, it's a strong word, destroy? But yes, Australian test side struggling as a result of some T20 cricket?
Not really. I don't think so. I think it's just ability. I mean, in our first class system, I believe needs to be looked at. If you look at all the stats through there and try and find first class averages of 50 or even this season, you're going to struggle to find. So we have guys averaging first class 41, 42, 38, 39. And I think that's the thing. I mean, yes, T20 cricket has come on board, whether some players take the focus and want to play that. But from the longer version of the game, we're not seeing the numbers stack up.
There are some T20 players that they are involving. Aaron Finch is a successful T20 player. They tried him for Test cricket. Shane Warne has been advocating that Darcy Short come into the Test game in spite of the numbers not suggesting so. Are they taking that route? On the other hand, Travis Head seems to be someone who's done okay.
Yeah, but it would be interesting to find out, since T20 cricket came into its own and became lucrative, whether the numbers of batsmen in the longer format has suffered.
We can say the same about some Indian batsmen. We
Like
could
for
say
example,
someone like
Rahul, I
KL
think
Rahul.
Akash wrote a very good piece about Rahul, that when he had a strike rate in the IPL of 120, his batting average in test matches was higher. Then his IPL strike rate became 145.50 and his test match average immediately dropped. So something to look at.
Okay, well, food for thought. More questions coming our way on this end of day show. Let's have a quick look. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, keep the questions coming. This is from George. For Sanjay, Sri Lanka will be travelling to Australia in the last week of Jan. Do you think after watching this performance against India, they'll also be able to beat Australia on their turf?
Bowling might be an issue for Sri Lanka. Their batting is starting to look good with Kushal Mendis getting that score. Angelo Matthews is looking good. And if the pitches are flat, Chandimal might get some runs, but 20 wickets they might struggle, and maybe a few Australian batsmen will just find form against Sri Lanka.
Got another question. So I'm glad you're already looking forward from this series at the end of day 3. Rohan Shukla, just like Bumrah, Kuldeep is becoming an impressive all-format bowler, right?
Sanjay thinks so, but I don't know. For one test is too quick to decide. He's bowled well in this test.
What one test? He played more than one test.
Overseas.
Yeah.
But he's asking whether it's all format, not
I
overseas.
mean, look, he's shown a lot of improvements in that last test that he played in England. Different conditions, of course.
Yes.
It was damp there, different batsmen. that he came up against as
See,
well.
9 wickets in 2 matches, one in India and one in Sri Lanka.
Sanjay thinks so.
But why don't you
my
allow
opinion is
Ajit to
we'll wait and see.
All right,
There's
so let's have a
there's got to be counter
He definitely
thoughts so
has
that his thought evolves and eventually prevails.
You are taking credit for his thought now.
He
that right?
definitely has the ability to become. But
Or the level of evolution of his thought.
Yeah.
Let's have a longer chat on Kuldeep Yadav because this.
No, has he finished or?
No, we're going to have that.
What
chat.
are you calling him? Is he a 3-format bowler yet?
yeah,
you
he
have to
clearly
wait and
is, but whether he's as good as Bumrah, not at the moment.
All right, now let's focus just on Kuldeep Yadav. We might say that India was so far ahead and the series almost seems won, but you certainly think this was an important game for Kuldeep Yadav to prove credentials.
Yeah, because at Lords he looked, as I said, fish out of water. There were just full tosses and short ball. Massive change from that performance in England, and now actually is a potential lone spinner on a good pitch also.
Lone spinner on a good pitch.
Yeah, because then you have a choice between Ashwin, Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav. When you have a good pitch and if you've got 3 quality seamers, worthwhile trying somebody who's slightly freakish, might be a little more expensive but has the X factor.
Does he have the skill set to be a lone spinner overseas?
Skill sets, yeah.
Okay.
Whether he can give as much control as maybe the other two give you, I'm not sure, because
See,
you expect your seamers to do majority of the job overseas. I mean, that's in general. I'm not talking every test match. Okay, Sydney now, it's worked India's way. If they'd bowled first, who knows, it might have been a different issue. So, lone spinner, I'm not quite sure yet.
In the combination of 3 quality seamers creating all the pressure with wickets and keeping the runs down, one Kuldeep Yadav will be slightly
He might release the pressure.
He might get you wickets as well.
But the seamers are getting the wickets for you. That's, I mean,
Fair
it's one of those.
Again,
Concede.
to the casting vote I'll send to Damien, Martyn in Sydney. You've
He'll
heard
become a
these two
potential, I said.
gentlemen. Yes, he's heard. Damien's been listening
go
very
with both.
patiently.
I want both sides.
So they're speaking of. Okay, let me put a
Damien
simple
Martyn
question.
has a career in politics in India.
Let me put a simple question, not Maharashtra politics. Let me put a simple question to you, Damien. Has Kuldeep shown that he's got enough control about him today? The wrist spinner, that's often the question. Can he offer the same type of control? Has he given you enough to suggest he could be lead spinner in terms of skill set and control?
So you're saying Ashwin's not playing?
Let's
So there you have the answer.
All right, so Ashwin won for you. And
Yes.
yeah, Sanjay makes the point. If it's a pitch that's not quite assisting, why not try the wrist spinner as the lone spinner? Now, is your wrist spinner good enough? That's the question.
Well, that's up to Kohli. I don't know. Yeah. Look, does he pick the Jays? It depends on the wicket, or does he want some batting as well? Depends. Yada's going to give up a bit of pressure away with full tosses and a few short ones, but does he get more wickets than Jadeja? And it's up to how he wants to call that.
Clearly, Damien obviously doesn't think he has and Ajit also doesn't feel that way, so that's fine.
All right, great.
But we could perhaps ask people watching, is there scope for Kuldeep Yadav to come in on a good pitch ahead of Jadeja and Ashwin because of how he bowls?
But like
not the
you-
quality of the bowling,
like-
but his freakish
Like
style
you
of-
rightly have reminded me, being a guide of mine in this field, that we don't get carried away with one performance for a batsman. So we should apply the same.
With Kuldeep?
No, so for a bowler as well. It's been one innings, one test. So
What, with Kuldeep Yadav on a what?
So wouldn't we want to wait longer before saying he
No,
could
he's
possibly?
not played only one test match. There's been 9 wickets in his first 2 test matches.
Yes.
Then he bowled badly against England at Lords. Then he had a great one against West Indies at home in the test match in this one.
All right.
There's
That-
not one test match.
as much as you would need on Kuldeep Yadav. Now also his selection did cause a bit of a stir on the first day. Was that the wild selection that Virat Kohli tends to throw up? Could he have gone for 3 seamers on this pitch? Now, whatever way, it looks like that selection isn't quite as questionable at the end of day 3. Speaking of selection, if you haven't caught Netflix's very latest Selection Day, you should catch it now.
where
It's a
you're going
story
with that.
about 2 teen cricket prodigies, much like Ajit Agarkar and Sanjay Manjrekar, who have to struggle with an overbearing father. No, not like any of them, and as well as all the questions that the system throws on them, and yet go on to pursue their dreams. So make sure you stream and catch Selection Day on Netflix right away. I think you'll be watching. No?
Ajit's story is brilliant. Had he gone to Shivaji Park Gymkhana, he would have ended up being a club player.
Yeah.
Shivaji Park Gymkhana was close, so he went to Bengal club and found Acharya and became an international cricketer.
That's it. So that's your own story, but these are all great stories that we can watch, and I'm sure you'll get on to watching Selection Day on Netflix away. More questions coming our way before we wrap things up on the post show. For Ajit Agarkar from YouTube, Pranav Tripathi. Do batsmen lose concentration over long periods of batting, which makes normal deliveries seem like wicket-taking deliveries? Okay.
Yeah, I think Australia has probably proved that, but I think Indian bowling's been good. I think Indian bowling's all four guys. I mean, whether it was 3 seamers and 1 spinner, or in this case 2 spinners, they've maintained the pressure. I mean, they've bowled enough wicket-taking balls. But yeah, I don't think the Australian batting's posed enough of a challenge in this.
Visualization game, Ajit. Same bowling attack. And the batting side, the Australian batting side that you bowled.
Yeah, it's tough to
Just
judge.
visualize.
It's tough. These guys are bowling well at the moment, so who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? They might have done the same to that batting lineup, so it's
But
hard
that
to judge.
lineup didn't quite fold as
But
easy.
what you can see at the moment, I don't think they've challenged Indian bowlers enough for long periods, and it could be concentration.
All right, one more question coming the way of our panel on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day as we wrap things up on day 3 from Kanishk Jori. Have the test matches taken a toll on Bumrah? Big asset for India in ODIs, should be fully fit. I'm going to put this to you again, Ajit. That's just the workload that India seem to be putting on Bumrah now.
Yeah, I'm sure they've managed him well. He didn't play the test against West Indies. They only got him back when they lost the game against. He didn't play the. No, he played the. I can't remember. I don't think he played. No, he did play the Asia Cup. He did play the Asia Cup. They rested him. They probably give him a break in the 1 days. I don't think there's. He'll have to be managed if he's got to play Test cricket and the amount of effort that he puts in.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're doing that. He needs to be fit for India to have a chance in the World Cup.
Yeah, it's also a big year. World Cup, IPL. There's talk of how much the fast bowlers will be allowed to play in the IPL. So that will handle workload management for the faster bowlers in this year. One final question for Sanjay Manjrekar. From Abhishek Gupta, should Kohli enforce the follow-on if India get Australia's lower order out early tomorrow?
I think so, because this pitch is not going to change dramatically after a day, and with weather being the way it is, just get into the game again. Australia have just had another almost batting debacle, so feed on that. I would enforce the follow.
You have a different view.
Yeah.
I don't have a different view. I think he won't.
Okay. You think he should, but he won't.
I'm not sure. They bowled 85 overs with 4 bowlers. They're 2 spinners, so the workload's a little bit easier because they've had a break today now. He should if they get bowled out early tomorrow, but I'm not sure he will.
You think Virat won't?
Yeah, I think he'll bat maybe a couple of sessions and towards the end of
batting
tomorrow.
order be then?
Pujara to bat another 300 balls to break that record or something?
Let me ask Damien the same. If you were Virat Kohli, Damien, you know this where the series and the match itself stands. Would you bat again and really just lock the game out, or would you want to try and get a result, bowl again, try and get Australia out cheaply in the second, try and get that 3-1?
I picked my 4 picks for tomorrow. I'm not sure who
No.
making them follow on, not follow on. I don't know.
I see.
Look, I think with the weather around, I think yes, get here to win. I think if he gets Australia for around 300, he should make the follow on. After that, maybe have a bat for a couple of sessions. But there's a lot of rain around at the moment, so it depends on what he's thinking. Is he going to go into the 5th day? Will he have enough overs to bowl Australia out again?
Yeah, given you can't wait to pick your Fat 4 for tomorrow, let's go straight.
I'm going last.
All right, but we'll just have a look at how you fared today, Damien Martyn, and that's why I've been giving you the last pick for these last 2 days, Damien. Maybe you should turn things around to change your luck. 100 points for Kuldeep Yadav and 40 points for Ravindra Jadeja, just 8 from Sean Marsh. A wicketless Jasprit Bumrah gets you only 148 points. Let's have a look at Sanjay Manjrekar, who was, of course, sitting pretty at the top of the table. Nothing from Bumrah, Marcus Harris, Kuldeep Yadav, Usman Khwaja, getting him a total of 192 points. Remember, depending on how many runs and wickets these players get, they get points for our experts on Fab 4. And Ajit Agarkar made one important selection, so he got Mohammad Shami in place of Bumrah, who got him an extra 20 points.
Not enough.
But Harris and Kuldeep Yadav inclusions don't count. Really.
So given that
they should become null and void because it was Agarkar copying.
Yeah, so given you accused Agarkar of copying not once but many times, I'm going to let Agarkar go first today. So if anyone has to be accused tomorrow, it'll be you. So let's have...
But this will depend actually, Damien was right with the follow-on, whether India will bat again or...
I'm afraid that this information is something you have to put one hand behind your back and just make this call.
Okay.
Yeah, this is why we pay you all those big dollars. Quick look at the leaderboard, and then I'll have them pick their top 4 for tomorrow. And it was neck and neck between Agarkar and Manjrekar. It remains neck and neck, so 28 points the difference. And Damien Martyn, something extraordinary could happen tomorrow with Damien Martyn. Let me see his picks later on.
Oh,
all right.
do I have to go first, is it?
Yes, Ajit, you can go first.
Okay, Bumrah.
Yes.
Go Kuldeep Yadav again.
Okay.
Got to pick a couple of Indian batsmen or Australian spinner. Nathan Lyon. And
Okay, 4.
3. Bumrah, Kuldeep, Lyon.
all bowlers. Do I need a batsman tomorrow? Maybe Pujara. No, not Pujara.
Mayank Agarwal could be an option. Pat Cummins could be an option.
No, not Pat Cummins. Pujara again.
Pujara again. All right. Mr. Manjrekar.
I'm going to pick 3 Indian bowlers actually. Bumrah, Kuldeep, Jadeja, and who opens with Mayank? I forgot.
KL Rahul. Yes, go for it.
I'll go for Rishabh. I'll go for Rishabh Pant because there's a likelihood India might bat and want to score quick runs, and Rishabh Pant because he's now the flavor of the season.
He
might
could
bat
get
at
you
number
some
3.
points.
I don't see
catches
Pujara
as
batting
well.
at number 3. I don't see him batting at
You
number
don't
3.
see that. Very well. Okay, let's go to Damien Martyn. Damien, go for it. Pick 4 Aussies. What do you got to lose?
What's left that I haven't picked? I'm going Indian bowlers again though. I'm going Jadeja, Yadav and Bumrah, and then I'm going batsman. I'm going Kohli. He'll bat 3.
Oh, yeah.
Well done. So there's not a single Aussie.
These guys have
in your
forgotten
list.
the new balls due.
Damien Martyn, they've lost the trust of Damien Martyn in this Fab 4 game,
Go on.
right? Many thanks, Damien.
Yeah.
Many thanks. Thank you for joining us. Get your thoughts again tomorrow. It's a half an hour early start, so 4:30 in the morning India time if you are setting your alarms on a Sunday morning to catch the cricket, or if you're on your way back from a late Saturday night like Ajit Agarkar usually is. Ajit, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Sanjay, pleasure. Thank you. We will see you again for ESPN Cricinfo Match Day presented by Maruti Suzuki at lunchtime on day 4. Bye-bye.
Bondi Beach, what more can I say? What are we doing here at Bondi Beach today?
Well.
Dumbest question ever. Can you answer it for me?
Very simply, I kind of joked, wouldn't it be funny if I taught you how to surf? And you're like, yeah, right. That's an idea. So here we are,
What is the lesson? Never joke around.
ever.
Ever.
So are you ready to learn how to surf?
Yeah.
Have you ever done it before?
I've done it once.
Okay. First things
It
first.
didn't go well.
If you just stand like really straight.
Okay.
Okay. I needed to work out which way you were saying. Which foot forward. That's why. So you're goofy. Just can you lie on the board for me? So paddling out the back. Okay. So paddle, paddle, paddle. Not too far. You want to be about an arm's distance away. Yep. Okay. Paddle, paddle, paddle. And then I think for you, up on one knee, leg up, and then ride it in.
And then... So are we ready to go out? Here we go. The most amazing surf instructor
Well,
I have ever met. I appreciate you abandoning me in the water once or twice. But no, honestly, like I couldn't have asked for a better day than you teaching me how to surf.
That was fun. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Good work.
Should we do a little dance?
Not here. We shouldn't.
No, we should not. Surfing and ice cream at Bondi. What more could you ask for? Tomorrow, we set sail on the iconic Sydney Harbour.
I thought I'd throw in as a surprise those sensational sights in Sydney, courtesy Shibani Dandekar in the company of Ed Carwin as a part of ESPN Cricinfo Undiscovered Australia presented by Tourism Australia. You can catch a lot more of that, of Shibani's fine videos and sightings throughout Australia on the site. Do log on to espncricinfo.com or download our official mobile app. You can also get extensive coverage on who says what at the end of day 3 in the press conferences there. We'll see you again tomorrow. Like I said, early start, 4:30 is when the session starts. We'll see you at lunchtime on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day presented by Maruti Suzuki. Bye-bye.